cafe anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1942, 1942. That was the year of the bomb.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Wasn't it? I don't know. It's been a while since I've been podcasting to you. 1942 was a year that started on a Thursday of the Gregorian calendar, the 1942nd year of the Common Era. And it's also a video game. And it makes you scare to play video games because it's odd.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I saw a funny sign today. It said, roses are red, violets are blue, poems are difficult, drink beer.
Mike's
Poetry is
Daily
tough to do, isn't it?
Podcast.
Let's see. The Declaration by the United Nations is signed by China, the United Kingdom, the United States, the Soviet Union, and 22 other states, in which they agree not to make any separate peace with the Axis powers. Oh, so that was the end of World War II, I believe. Okay. That was, I guess, but I don't know history anymore. It's like left my brain. I tried so hard to learn things, and then suddenly I lost it all in my brain hole. I need to watch more History Channel or read a book or read Wikipedia. Yeah, it does seem we had a lot of the German war still to go with the against the Axis. And I like to watch a Ken Burns documentary too. That's good. Gets you in the mood for learning and taking in knowledge and realizing this is real people back when. 1942. Okay, so my birthday happened. Speaking of 42, I am not 42. I am 51 now. My birthday happened since we last spoke. And we went to Santa Cruz and had a wonderful time. I will tell you more about that in a moment, but first let me just tell you, try to be positive with people. That's my little tip for you today. Be positive, my friend.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Spread positivity. Now, I know it's fun to be negative. I know there's a lot of stuff in this world that's crazy and you want to complain about. But the more positive you are, the more other people are positive, and then you spread the positivity around and it comes back to you. It's true. Meanwhile, we live in a cancel society. Did you know that? What is a cancel society? From what I've been able to gather, it is you say something that offends someone else, you get canceled. Here's the interesting thing about that is we have so many Basil. Basil had fun on my birthday. We went to Santa Cruz and had a blast. Then he went to the beach. He didn't bark at the birds, though. He didn't bark at the seagulls. It did not interest him. But I have a fun negative story to tell about Basil. But first, be positive. Spread the positivity around. And it's the cancel culture. Be aware of the cancel culture. That things on TV get canceled. That radio shows get canceled. If, for example, you say something derogatory towards a type of people, you might get canceled. It's as simple as that. But does that mean your podcast will ever get canceled? No. You can create a whole world on the internet with your podcast. Just got to be careful about, well, what platforms that you are on that you don't offend them, because you get knocked off of that. And then there's a bunch of people on the right that get mad at social media because they figure social media is left-leaning and that they cancel them. So there's the cancel culture there. There's the cancel culture in the world of the liberal world, because people think, hey, I'm going to be liberal and free speech and all that. And all of a sudden they say something that offends people of the Judeo-Christian faith, they get canceled. And then nowadays there's the whole millenniums. Oh, that drives me crazy when people call them millenniums. When millennials have, as a group, now united and they say, no, I'm not going to go for this racist, bigoted commentary that I'm hearing from someone on something. And then that person gets canceled. Ageist, sexist, got to be careful. I think it all goes back to being positive. There we go. It all goes back to that. Hey, I have my little bell. My bell here today. Goes back to being positive. My short-lived bell. You can ring my bell. So let's go back to my trip. My Santa Cruz trip. There is a very bizarre place in Santa Cruz that's all hammocks. And it's actually near the podcast picture today. The podcast picture is at the Octagon in downtown Santa Cruz. This building's been there. I don't know the entire history about it. I could read it to you right now and bore the crap out of you, but I'll hold it. I'll wait it. I'll save it. You could do it yourself, bore yourself. But I will tell you that the Octagon is a fascinating place to me because it used to have inside of it a little coffee house right in the center of this enormous room. And now, unfortunately, they've chopped up the room into two separate restaurants. One serving Cajun food and one serving sushi. But it used to be a little barista sitting right in the middle of this massive room. And I remember this barista was listening to Of Monsters and Men. Don't listen to a word I say. Ha! That one. And the truth will set us body safe from whatever, however that song goes. So this place, anyway, the podcast picture is of that wonderful place, and you can see that picture at MikesDailyPodcast.com. That was taken this past Saturday by my lovely lady friend as we were hanging out in Santa Cruz on my birthday. Now, my birthday was on Friday, but while we were there in downtown Santa Cruz, we walked past this place called Roxa, R-O-X-A. They are known for their elixirs. Yeah, I don't know what the heck that means. And there's like a big potion book when you walk in. And it's all dimly lit. And it's all a bunch of those sitting hammocks. Have you been? Not the ones you recline in. But you can recline in them if you want. But they're more of sitting hammocks. And they're all for sales. We go outside a cafe anyway. We're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Podcastro Valley. And I'm getting a call while I'm out here. I better take it. Wow, I just had an interesting conversation. Man, maybe I should do podcasts because apparently it's very difficult to do. As we were talking about the cancel culture a little earlier, radio, people get, DJs and radio announcers get threatened with lawsuits. And wow. Because you have control of the FCC airwaves. People, when they come at you like a spider monkey. It's crazy. Okay, back to this fascinating thing. That's why I'm trying to spread positivity today. These wonderful hammocks, so you could lay down. It's a weird place, Roxa. I don't know. I'm giving them a plug and a slug simultaneously. It was an interesting place, though. Never seen anything like it. And, of course, the hammocks were for sale. So that was an interesting part. And that's where it was podcast picture. Everything is there. Also, their museum they have in Santa Cruz. See it at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Tell all your friends about MikesDailyPodcast.com, too. And you can call me and let me know what you think about people being overly sensitive in today's world at 336MM Daily. That's 3 plus 3 equals 6MM as a Mike Matthews Daily. As in what this podcast will try to be for, well, actually probably won't be this week. It was just so busy, could not get to do this show because of the birthday and because, well, one of the fun things we did was we went to Pleasure Point in Santa Cruz. That is where Verve Coffee is. I'm going to give them a plug and I'm going to give them a slug. Now, well, it's a little pricey. I will say that. But they have great coffee, and we went, as we were walking back to the car, my lovely lady friend and Basil and I, all of a sudden this guy pulls over in this brand new SUV hybrid whatever, and he sees me walking Basil, and as I've mentioned before on this podcast, Basil's back legs, they can't hold him up, he can't walk with them, so I have a harness that I use to pick him up, because he has the degenerative myelopathy. And he can still walk with his front legs, and I help him walk with his back legs. And we've been doing this for like a year now. And he gets his exercise and he's great. But this guy pulls over, and I remember he was kind of a big guy, big giant guy, probably my age, a little bit older maybe. Big hands, just big, like this oversized for this SUV he was in. Oversized for an SUV, that's how big this guy was. And he says, "Excuse me." And of course, I just ignore him. I don't even listen to "excuse me," because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be something I don't want to be engaged in. But my lovely lady friend is lovely, and she will talk to people, and she's good at talking with people, and she's good at hearing them out. And so she listens to this guy, and he says, "I see what you're going through with your dog, and I feel really bad. Here, let me show you a picture." And he's, doing that swiping thing. He's trying to find a picture in his iPhone. He's got this little tiny iPhone. Maybe it was a normal sized iPhone, but he had these huge hands, and he's going through. He's like, I'm sorry this is taking so long. I'm sorry. And I'm like, ugh. I just keep going with Basil until I realize my lovely lady friend has been sucked in to this guy's world where he's trying to find a picture. He's trying to help Basil. Yes, that's nice of him to do. Thank you for spreading your positivity, sir. But the sun is going down, and my lovely lady friend and I have had this issue where we can't ever get to Capitola while the sun is still up. And we're not that far from Capitola, but there's always traffic getting into it. And I want to see the sunset, and I want to see the beautiful little Venetian houses thing while the sun's still up. And I want to see the sunset, and this guy is sucking up all our time. And I have a business card. I walk back with Basil, and I throw a business card at him, and I go, "Just send me the email. Send me an email with the picture." He doesn't even, he's like, "Okay, let me find you this picture. Let's go. Come on." So I keep going, and I do something bad, and that is I leave my lovely lady friend to talk to this guy. And she's just, okay. And then afterwards she tells me, "Listen, he's got a really good idea, and it is an actual thing that can help Basil move." And I go, "Okay, great. I'm open to hearing about these ideas, these inventions, these wheelchairs they make for dogs." Mike's Daily Podcast is what you're listening to, if you didn't realize that by now. And then so I gave him the email, right, like 3 days ago. He still hasn't emailed me yet. So I think this guy was he felt bad. He saw Basil, felt bad, had to waste all our time trying to find his stupid picture in his phone. We didn't miss the sunset, but it got dark pretty fast, and we just barely caught it. That's all I got. But speaking of this cancel society, think about it in this way. Television in the 70s, okay, you had all these shows that really riled people up, that got people angry, like All in the Family. And they were saying words on that show that I would never, ever say on this show. And basically no white person should ever say certain words. But these words were said. And we were watching this show, my lovely lady friend and I. It's a show about the 70s. I think CNN made it. Tom Hanks executive produced it. It was fascinating to me and made me think about the cancel society and canceling and all that. That's all I got. What do you think? 336-MM Daily. 336-MM Daily. Let's see. And I got a text message. You can text me at that line as well. And you can call and leave a message. Oh, no. I'm getting a call from someone. Hold on.
Later that day.
All I'm trying to do is podcast, and I keep getting phone calls. What is going on? Oh, and we stayed with a hippie. It was awesome. We stayed at an Airbnb run by a hippie who used to be a CHP officer. So we kind of had this good thing going on. He was like CHP. So he was first a CHP officer, then a hippie. So he could be like, "Yeah, we're 420 friendly, but never in the house." And then he would, "I'm going to make you guys," he made us a delicious, what do you call it? tort. Is it a tort or tart? Something like that. And it was with plums. He goes, have some, have the, and he give us a huge plate of it. Don't eat all of it. Yes, it was a fun time. I have more stories about that in the days to come, but I want you to remember that this is a podcast to help you, to cheer you up and get you going in this world, this crazy world where people send each other countless texts and emails and social media stuff. And sometimes you just have to weave through it all and sit outside a cafe anyway and talk to interesting people that you meet, like this particular person here outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley right now.
Hello, McManus. It's Chely Shoehart, gift chef supervisor. Oh my gosh. There's a lot going on out here at Cafe anyway.
Yeah.
I like the hammocks.
Excellent. Look what else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer, Mike. Doing a podcast is a lot of fun for people. That's why so many people do it today. Mm-hmm. And that's the end of the show, because next show, it'll be... Oh, wait. These people are also here. Hello, Mike. It's Meta Brutaberger. And what is this? So many people. Oh.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And it's Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we are all here to wish you a very happy belated birthday day.
Yeah, birthday. Do you know that? Thank you. I'm 51. And next show, I guess Chely Shoehart and Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the engineer will come back. And thank you, and I hope you come back too. 336mm Daily. Let me know what you think of the topics we covered. And you can go to MikesDailyPodcast1942Octagon and find out more stuff about it there. And here's Ariel saying other things.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!